Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Chat with DJ Matt here. I'm DJ Matt. That's my name. DJ Echoes here.
Bro.
Right. All right. So basically, for this show today, we're gonna be just dialing into the NBA playoffs. Nothing really happened since last week. It's just the playoffs that are going on. So we're gonna go by series and talk about it. So let's start off with the series that is now over. The Phoenix Suns have swept MVP Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. Oof. What you
Mm-mm-mm.
fucking do?
Well, first off, it's a good time to be a Arizona sports fan. That's what it is. It's a good time. But oh Lord, I don't see any reason why the Phoenix Suns can't beat either of the Jazz and the Clippers. I don't see any reason why the Phoenix Suns can't go all the way to the finals. And honestly, I'm gonna say it right now. I don't see any reason why the Phoenix Suns can't win a championship. Because Devin Booker is playing out of his mind. Chris Paul is playing out of his mind, and the supporting cast, the depth of Phoenix is also playing, firing on all cylinders. The Nets right now, all they have is KD. I don't see any reason why they can't steam through the Jazz, which I still think the Jazz are going to win that series. So I think it'll go the distance. But yeah, and I mean the Nuggets. I think Jokic deserved MVP, but I think this just showed that they really need Jamal Murray. They really need that 1-2 combo of Murray and Jokic to be competitive.
Absolutely. I mean, I was even without Murray, I thought Denver should have at least won two games in this series. Like I really thought it was gonna be like I mean, I had the Suns winning the series all along, but like I didn't expect a sweep though. I thought you have the MVP of the league, you have Michael Porter Jr., who has been doing pretty well, honestly, and then you have Campazzo, I'm actually starting to like a lot. And then I just thought the Nuggets were gonna put up more of a fight, and they really didn't. And everyone was talking about that when Jokic got ejected, which I agree that he shouldn't have gotten ejected. But if I'm Jokic, it's game four, our team is barely hanging on to this game itself. Why would I put myself in that position to get ejected? You know what I mean? Why would I?
Exactly.
That was a dumb play in my opinion. So that's why I was like, I kind of understand why people were like, you don't eject them there, but at the same time, I was like, well, he kind of did that to himself. Like, I mean, he kind of deserved it in that aspect of like, you're an MVP, you can't be doing stupid stuff like that because now your team is screwed. Now your team has no chance at winning because once he was ejected, it was basically over. Like Phoenix just took advantage of that, and Chris Paul like had an amazing game. And I like you said, Jokic deserves MVP, but I still would have given my vote to Chris Paul. And I thought Chris Paul actually probably was one of the best players in the series to begin with. Like I feel like Jokic had some good games, but I thought Chris Paul's leadership, I thought is what was better.
Right. And I mean, and it's like if Jokic punches some dude on the court, you're gonna say, "Oh, well, don't eject him because he's the MVP." Like if Jokic does something that's worth ejecting, eject the person. It doesn't matter if it's the MVP or somebody who never touches the floor. If somebody needs to get ejected, eject them.
Yeah,
But no, I do agree, and I mean, I think the Nuggets getting swept isn't so much a testament on the Nuggets being bad. I think it's just a testament of the Suns just balling out of their minds right now. I think that that's really what it is more than the Nuggets. I mean, I think if the Nuggets would have played anybody else, they might have had a chance right now. But like I said, Phoenix, they're just balling out of their minds. Point guard, Devin Booker. I mean, in the two closeout games, Devin Booker has 81 points,
yeah, it's
which
ridiculous.
is which is crazy because Kobe with that 81-point game. I don't know. It's
He's like the next Kobe Bryant, like he
oh
is.
yeah, he definitely is.
you know. And another thing too is like I know we talked whenever Tom Thibodeau won the Coach of the Year, and I was like, I mean, yeah, he did well this year. I mean, he led the Knicks to the playoffs, but I'm like, Monty Williams deserves it. He just swept the Nuggets. Who would if you would like? I don't think anyone had the Suns sweeping the Nuggets in this series. Like a lot of people picked the Suns, but I feel like they didn't pick them to sweep. Like I think Monty Williams deserves Coach of the Year. I'm sorry, like I just no disrespect to Thibodeau, but like Monty Williams to me right now is the best coach right now in the league.
Well, I
Like
mean, look, it's fine. Whenever they win that national championship, it'll all be okay.
yeah, so. But yeah, I'm so happy for the Suns. They're the team I'm rooting for now for the rest of the playoffs. Let's go to the other Western series. So we have the Jazz and the Clippers. The Clippers dominated the Jazz last night, and the series is now tied to 2. Kawhi had that monster dunk. Everyone went crazy, which, okay, it's a dunk. Like, they haven't seen a dunk before. Like, I'm stopped. Like, they overreact to all the dunks. It's like, it's kind of making it to where it's like, it's not as, like, I'm not impressed anymore with dunks for some reason. It's just like, seen it before.
Yeah, I mean, the only person who dunks at this point, and I'm still like dumbfounded, is John Morant, but that's because he just be
And
doing crazy stuff. Well, and Zion, yeah, but John Morant just be doing crazy stuff. Like John Morant, he's not like a big dude, but he's getting up there, and like he's out here trying to end people's careers. Like he really is out here trying to end people's careers. Like, whew.
I did like Kawhi just did like a 360 or whatever. I'm like, he kind of. I mean, it's just a
I think,
normal.
yeah, the only reason is because Kawhi's such a quiet player. You don't expect him to do something like that. You just expect him to, just put it in.
Yeah, I don't know. I just dunking's a little. I love dunking, but like it's just not. I don't know. I'm not impressed anymore.
It is what it is.
Steve Harvey said it best. He was hosting the NFL honors, and he was like talking about how like people celebrate the smallest things in sports, like a first down, how to do like this thing for first down. He was like, it's like a basketball player dunking. He's like, you're 7 foot. The goal is 10 foot, and you dunk. There's no one around you. Why are you yelling or
Yeah.
something? I was like, that's a
It's like
funny
get back to
stuff.
the line. Like you
Yeah,
just got a first down. Get back to the line. This ain't over. You ain't scored a touchdown yet.
yeah,
Get back to the line.
yeah. But the series itself, the Clippers have the best roster, I think, other than the Nets, I think, in the NBA. And they should be the favorites to go to the finals for the West. But the problem is they're the most inconsistent team in the NBA. It's like it took them 6 games to figure out, oh, we probably need to double Luca so Luca doesn't even score. Because in game 6, that's what they did. And then in game 7, even though the Mavericks lost, Luca still put up 40 points. So the Clippers are just a weird team. It's like they should be a defensive juggernaut, to be honest, but they're not. And so last game, it looked like, okay, this is another game where they showed that they can be a great defensive team. But I just don't see it happening 2 more times. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting with the Clippers. They're so inconsistent.
Yeah, and that's really why I still think that the Jazz can win the series because like you said, they're just so inconsistent. And I mean, both of these games was played in the Staples Arena. I mean, when it's going back to Utah. I mean, I really do think that this could be one of those series where the home team wins every game.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then Jazz is winning the series.
Yeah. Um, I love Donovan Mitchell. I think him and Devin Booker are gonna probably be the future of the West, to be honest. Like those are gonna be like the two guys. And you know what I mean? Because they're
Well, I
both
mean, I mean, the West has got a lot of young guys. I mean, it's not just them two. Obviously, you have them two, but you also have Luca, you have Ja, and you have Zion. So I mean, they got a lot of guys in the West.
but here's the deal, like there's rumors that Luca is going to sign the supermax with the Mavericks, but there's internal discussions of the fact that Luca may not really want to be here because he has poor relationships with the front office, which I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know how that situation is going to go. Luca seems like he wants to be in Dallas, but I don't know if Luca stays there his whole career though.
I
So
mean,
I
look,
feel like,
Mark Cuban will do anything and everything to make sure that Luca stays there.
yeah,
I mean, look, let's be honest.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know, but Dallas needs to build a winner. But right now, I'm looking at Utah and I'm looking at Phoenix of teams of like if they play their cards right, they can be two teams that are like in the playoffs every year and vying for championships every year. You know?
And I'd be okay with that because that's two teams that have never won a chip. So
Yeah. So I just think Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell, I think are gonna both be like MVP candidates, like down the line, like because they already are basically borderline in my opinion. Like they're great. Because Donovan
yeah,
Mitchell last year in the bubble, he scored what 50, 60 points in the bubble in a game or a playoff game or whatever. It's like second
something like that.
in history.
I
Like
think it's scored like 50 something, and then only second to Elgin Baylor and Michael Jordan.
yeah, so like Donovan Mitchell's there and like Devin Booker's there, So like if they can build the right team around them, they can definitely be like mainstays in the West.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I mean, I really hope that the conference finals is Phoenix Jazz, but I mean, if it's Clippers Suns, I mean, I think honestly either way, the Suns can get there, you know, but we'll see, we'll see. Again, just happy it's not the Lakers.
Yeah,
Let's just put it that way.
yeah. Let's move over to the East because the East is interesting as well. Bucks and Nets tied at 2. James Harden, Kyrie out with injuries. Kevin Durant's basically by himself with Joe Harris. I'm not gonna disrespect Joe Harris. Joe Harris is a really good player. So I don't know, man. If the Buck, I mean, if James Harden and Kyrie are out, because Kyrie's out for Game 5, I know that. If James Harden doesn't come back in Game 5, like the Bucks can definitely take a 3-2 lead. I mean, the Bucks could eliminate the Nets. Like it's a real thing.
And I mean the Bucks have seemed to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like the last game they look like the Bucks. They look like the Bucks from the regular season. And I'm really happy about that because now you have Giannis with Drew and Chris Middleton. They're all playing like they should be. I mean, now you just have KD. I mean, honestly, for the Nets, it's kind of a tricky situation because right now the Nets, the only way that the season is good is if they win a championship. Like it doesn't matter if they get to the finals, if they get to the conference finals. If they don't win a chip, it's a failure of a season. Like honestly, you got James Harden, you got Kyrie Irving, and you got KD. And I mean, and I mean, some people right now are talking about if KD can't close out this series by himself, right? Without Kyrie, without Harden, what does that say about KD? I don't think it diminishes KD, but
That's a little unfair. Yeah.
it is a bit unfair. But I'm happy. I'm happy with the prospect of the Bucks advancing because this is my thing. As much as I'd be okay with the Nets winning. I don't want Giannis to go somewhere else. I want him to stay in Milwaukee, and I think if he doesn't go to the finals. That's not going to happen.
I mean, he did sign that super max, but yeah, but in 2 or 3 years, if they're not in the finals at least once or twice, he might just say, you know what, I just want out, you know. But
Right. So, I'm hoping for a Suns Bucks finals. And I mean,
yeah,
it could still happen, there's a chance.
it'd be interesting finals. Yeah, I mean the Bucks. I mean, look, KD has to face Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, who are really good defenders. Like Drew Holiday just made the All Defensive First Team. So Drew Holiday can guard the positions 1 through 5. He's like that good of a defender. And everyone, what we said in New Orleans when he was here, it was like he was the most underrated player in the NBA. And it's true. Like he is one of the best two-way players in the NBA. You know what I mean? He's up.
Honestly, yeah.
I mean, Kawhi's a better offensive talent than Drew is. That's the reason why I would maybe you would have Kawhi above Drew. But like defensively, they're about the same. I mean, Drew can guard anybody. So,
Right.
so it's a tough task for the Nets, honestly, and they still have some good pieces on the bench and still have some good pieces. But like against Giannis, if Giannis plays like his MVP self, and then you have Middleton going off and Drew going off, it's kind of hard to kind of hard to combat that if you're the Nets and KD by himself. So, yeah, so the Bucks are definitely have a window here, and they should definitely attack it because if not,
And, and I mean, on top of that, right now they have all the momentum in the world. Nets have zero momentum. So right now it's leaning towards the Bucks. I mean, of course, the Nets can come out here, just run through the Bucks, and honestly, at that point, I would be like, okay, well, the Nets probably gonna win the series.
yeah. I do think though the Nets will win at least one more game though in this year. I feel like it's gonna go 7 games. I feel like in Game 6 that everyone's gonna come back, or at least James Harden's gonna come back, and the Nets are gonna at least win one more game and maybe win the series. I don't know. Like it could go either way still. Like, but the Bucks have the momentum. They should definitely. I feel like if the Bucks don't win with Harden and Irving out, a lot of eyeballs are gonna be looking at the Bucks like, what are y'all doing? Like, why didn't you win the series?
And that's gonna be like I don't know because I know I just said that like the season is gonna be a failure, but like two of your big three was injured for some games. So I mean, I don't know if I'd necessarily call it a failure. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, it was a failure of a season. You didn't win a chip," but it's hard
Yeah.
to win a championship. Doesn't matter the team.
If the Bucks, I think if the Bucks lose this series with the Nets stars out, I think Mike Budenholzer might be fired. I think it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Because if they lost and the Nets were fully healthy, then it's understand them. But
Yeah,
if
I mean,
they
there's
lose,
nothing you can do there.
yeah, but if they lose and like it's just Kevin Durant out there, I feel like you have Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez. I mean, I feel like your seat's gonna get really hot, really fast.
Oh
Probably,
yeah.
So this is game five is a must win for the Bucks in my opinion. It's a must win. You have to get that 3-2 lead just to have any chance because then you have two chances to win instead of now you only have one chance to win
having to win too. Yeah.
in a row. Yeah. So let's move on to the other series now. Good series too. 76ers Hawks. Wow.
Yeah, and
Sixers.
and who'd have thought Hawks are kind of the Cinderella story of the playoffs right now,
Yeah. And I like it
and
too.
I'm liking it.
Yeah. 76ers just went full shutdown mode in the second half last night. And the Hawks, they were up by 18 and the Hawks just came back. Looks like Trey Young has a shoulder injury or something. Like he had an ice pack on his shoulder, I think, after the game or whatever. So that's something to definitely monitor. This series, I think, will go probably 7 games too. Like it's a good series.
Well, I mean, hey, look at who just had a shoulder injury, and then now that team just swept. So I mean,
Yeah, true. Very true. Yeah, 76ers are a weird team. It's like I feel like they're the one seed. I feel like I don't know. I love the 76ers like I've always have. I trusted the process. I was on that bandwagon. But like I don't know. Like something's not right with this team. It's like they should contend for championships and they are, but it's like something's off. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because of Joel or Ben. Like I don't know what it is. Why I just don't trust the 76ers to do anything. Like I would not be surprised if the Hawks won this series. Like I'm just like I don't I
I
because
don't know. Maybe they're just missing that guy who's like got that competitive nature, like like with the Suns right now, they got Chris Paul, who's got like a competitive nature, and like with the Heat last season, they had Jimmy Butler. You
that might
got
be
these
what it is.
guys who's got.
I think when they had Jimmy Butler, they had like an edge to them a little bit. And I was like,
Yeah,
team, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a team that can definitely win. But then they lost Jimmy Butler, so they lost a little bit of that dog.
right.
I feel like they need to get a player like Jimmy. If like they should have never got rid of Jimmy Butler, because I think I remember like in the free agency, it was like they were choosing either it was Tobias Harris or Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler.
I think we both came up here and were like, you should keep Jimmy Butler. Over,
Yeah, and they kept Tobias Harris, and I mean, it wasn't because Tobias Harris was a worse player than Jimmy Butler. I mean, they were Tobias Harris is a good player, and I mean, he's
yeah,
showing his worth
he's
in these
actually
playoffs because
well, Tobias Harris is basically, in my opinion, he's basically picking up the slack of Ben Simmons in terms of offense, in terms of scoring, because Ben Simmons doesn't shoot. So I feel like Tobias Harris is your number two option.
right,
Ben Simmons, which I
but
feel like that might be where they're going wrong. Where it's like I don't know if Tobias Harris should be a number two option. Maybe he's like a really good number three. And no disrespect to Tobias Harris, he's a really good player. He can get you 30 points in a game. Like he can do it, but like he has to be like really hot to do it though. Like I don't know. Like I think they're missing that one extra piece. I really do.
and you know what they're missing? They're missing consistency because like Joel Embiid, you never even know first off if he's gonna play, right? And even if he is gonna play, is he gonna be monster Joel Embiid or is he gonna be 4 for 20, which was last night, Joel Embiid?
And he
With Joel Embiid, you're gonna get
what he went 0 for 18 or whatever it was, 0 for 12 in the second half or something like that.
something like that, yeah.
You can't if you're Joel,
And then
you can't do that. You can't do that.
right, and then you have Ben Simmons, who I mean, I'm not gonna knock on Ben Simmons for not necessarily playing offense, but if your number one option is going to be struggling, then you, as the number two option, which Ben Simmons probably is, needs to step up on the offensive side. And you have Tobias Harris, who, like you said, for him to do good, he has to be hot. He can't just do good no matter what the night is. Whether you're cold, whether you're hot. So I mean, I think that's really the problem is they're missing a consistent player. They're missing somebody who you can rely on to go out there and put up at least 20 a night, maybe get 30. They're missing that kind of guy, and that's why they can't contend.
Yeah, that I just I don't know. It's the roster, I think, in my opinion, because I mean they fired Brett Brown and they got Doc Rivers, but I'm like I don't know if it's Brett Brown's fault though. Like I feel like the roster is not necessarily there yet, you know. And I've always defended Ben of like that's not his game. Like he's not gonna shoot. That's not his style, and I kind of respect it. That he's sticking to what he does best. I mean, because then if he starts shooting threes and he starts missing them all, we're all gonna be like, why are you shooting threes? Like there's a no-win situation. I feel like for Ben if he shoots or if he doesn't shoot. So I feel like he's just sticking to what he does best, and I kind of respect it. And he's really
Oh
good.
yeah, I agree.
But they need a consistent score. They need like a Chris Paul, honestly. but like not a Chris Paul because because Ben
But
Simmons
but Chris
does Chris
but Chris
Paul.
Paul's not going to go to there because he's looking at a guy like Jimmy Butler. A guy like Jimmy Butler is probably somebody who Chris Paul respects, and Jimmy Butler saying that they soft. Chris Paul like, oh my god, oh my god, been a bunch of
And that's the
soft
problem. It's a
guys.
philosophy issue. That's what it is. The way they play, it's a soft way of playing. And like Jimmy Butler's probably looking at Joel Embiid like, bro, you're like 7 foot whatever you are, like probably one of the biggest players in the NBA, one of the strongest players in the NBA. Like, bro, like let's knock some heads, like be a presence instead of like, you know,
And I'm not going to sit here and say that there's anything wrong with crying, but like, bro, come on,
yeah,
you can't be doing that after every single time you lose.
yeah. No, I mean the one when he cried was the Raptors series, which I actually kind of I don't blame for that because that was a game 7. That was just like Kawhi hitting one of the luckiest shots, honestly, I think in NBA history. Like the way that ball bounced, like that's crazy. So I don't dog him for that. And that was and that's when they had Jimmy Butler, and that was probably their best chance to do anything. And that was against obviously if they would have won that series, they were gonna play against a hurt Golden State. They probably would have won that series too. So
Probably, yeah.
so so the NBA is now reviewing the rules of how Trey Young plays basketball, basically,
Finally, freaking
of
finally.
leaning into guys when trying to shoot, creating contact, getting 3 point foul calls and all that stuff. Um, which I mean that I don't like that how Trey Young does that. It doesn't make me hate him as a player. I still love Trey Young. Same thing with James Harden. James Harden used to do that too, or he does that still too. Not as much as Trey Young does, I think, but
Yeah, it's not just Trey Young, but everyone's looking at Trey Young because the way Trey Young is doing it is so blatant.
yeah. So I do think
I
they do
think that that's the problem.
because if the defender is not moving, he's just standing up like this, and the guy bounces into him. Like that's not the defender's fault. Like what do you want him to do?
Like
You know,
honestly, that should be an offensive foul,
that's
is what that
probably
should
I
be.
think that's what the rule's gonna end up being. Like it's gonna be an offensive foul for doing it. Um,
And I mean, and as it should, as it 100% should. I mean, why are you gonna sit here and say, oh, well, the defender didn't move, he's not touching the shooter, but at the end of the play, the shooter ended up in the defender, so it's a defensive foul. Like, in what world does that make sense? Like, honestly, in what world does that make sense?
yeah. Another thing too I don't like, and I don't know if they're gonna address this, and they probably don't, but I always thought like in the paint how like if you jump up and you do like that or like you swipe at them like then it's a foul. I've seen a lot of times where the guys are just in the paint with their hands up and they're vertical and they stay vertical, but yet they still call it a foul. I'm like I would let that go because like it's not like he went like swiped at him like he kept his hands like what do you want him to do? Not defend? I feel like that. I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like they should be more specific with those foul calls because like I feel like if a guy just has his hands up and he's standing still, not even jumping. Sometimes they're not even jumping; they just have their hands up, and like they go for the shot and they call a foul. I'm like, he didn't even jump; he just had his hands up. Like, what do you want him to do? So like, I feel like that should also be reviewed, or I don't know. Like, I just don't like that call either because I feel like that's unfair for the defender because defense is so hard to play already in the NBA. You can barely touch anybody in the NBA because then it's gonna be a foul. But like, if the guy's just standing there with his hands up and the offensive player is the one that it's like I don't know. I feel like that shouldn't be a shooting foul. I feel like that should just let it go. That should be like a keep playing on type of deal.
Yeah, just keep playing on. And you know what else they need to review? Some of the things that count as technical fouls, because some of the things that these players are getting called for as technical fouls is ridiculous.
I know
Like,
yeah, Trey Young got called last night. He was doing like open your eyes or whatever to the ref. But I'm like,
like some things I understand, but like people screaming and one, like I forget who it was, but somebody bounced the ball to the ref and he got called for a tech. I'm
that was
like,
JJ Redick. That was with the Pelicans.
like people tossing the ball are like, who is it? Like, I, I think it was Jordan Clarkson. He like ran into the ref, so he kind of pushed the ref off him, and that was a tech.
Yeah.
Like some of these things just write intent in there. Like if they are intending to hurt the ref, boom, that's a tech. But like if the ref runs into the player and the player's trying to get the ref off of him, first off, that's on you as the ref. Don't be in the way of the game, right? But second off, don't call a tech on the player because you ran into the player and he's just trying to get you off of him. Like that shouldn't be a
Yeah.
tech.
Here's the deal. It's the problem with officials, and this is in all sports. This is
Soft. They soft.
not just that. They're all inconsistent. All sports. In MLB, the strike zone is never the same. For if like like it changes from each batter basically. Like the strike zone, like it's never the same. NBA, the foul calls are never the same. The NFL, they don't call the fouls the same way for both teams. Um, Tennis is not as bad. I feel like golf. I don't even think golf has officials, but like
No.
hockey probably is inconsistent too. Like all soccer for sure are inconsistent. They're all inconsistent. They don't call it the same way for each team, and that's what's frustrating. And it's like if I'm an NBA player and like somebody, I'm going for a shot and it's a clear foul and they don't call it, I'm gonna yell at the refs like, "Hey refs, what are you doing?" If they give me a tech, I'll just be like, "So you're gonna give me a tech because you're bad at your job?" That's what I would say to them. So you're just mad because you're bad at your job.
And
Okay.
it doesn't make sense. And I mean, how is it a tech to scream and one? Like, explain that to me. How is it a tech to scream and one?
Like
I
every
don't get it.
that and like what the hell?
I don't get it. And it's like, why are like honestly, what they need to do with the with what constitutes as a technical foul is write intent into it. Like and don't give the refs free reign to say what is and what isn't a tech. And like, yes, I don't want people complaining to the refs because we already have that enough with the Lakers.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, if it's gonna be an obvious blatant foul and the person is, like, okay, this is my thing, right? Let's say we have a play where somebody obviously gets blatantly fouled, and that player complains to the ref, and they call a tech, and they review the play, right? And they say, okay, it was a foul. Take away the tech. Don't keep the tech on there. If you're gonna say yes, it was our mistake, it was a foul, take away the tech.
Yeah.
Don't keep the tech.
I don't I think it was might have been the Jazz, I mean not Jazz, the Suns Nuggets series, I think. The ball went out of bounds, right? And so the refs didn't know who went off of last. So they decided to do a jump ball. I'm like, hello, you have review. Why can't you just review it to see whose ball it is? Like, why are we doing a jump ball? Like, because I think it was good. I think they looked. I mean, they showed the replay on the telecast, so
Right.
I think it was going to be Nuggets ball. And so when they jumped it, the Suns won the tip. So the Suns got the ball, but I'm like, okay, if they would have reviewed that, it would have been the Nuggets ball. I feel like they screwed the Nuggets over in that scenario. That's what
I
I'm talking
mean,
about. The refs, like, I feel like the refs just do what they want because they can.
yeah.
Like, I mean,
I mean, who's gonna stop them? Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with the NFL. There's no accountability for refs. Like, honestly, if there was accountability for refs, I guarantee you that the refs would stop pulling this.
yeah,
Because if they're gonna be like, oh, okay, well, we're just gonna cut your pay if you're gonna start making blatantly missed calls. And I mean, I can understand sometimes because sometimes
you're not gonna make
you
every.
look at and I don't expect the refs to make every single call because sometimes I look at a play in the NFL, I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of like on the line of a foul or not. But like there are other times, and I mean, I don't need to name obvious calls in NFL because we know the ones. But like, if you don't make that call, find the refs, and I guarantee you they will stop doing that. I guarantee you they will stop doing that.
And look, the 50-50 ones, I'm okay with them calling it either way. But it's the
Yeah,
obvious ones that just get me. I'm like, that's obviously a foul. How do you not call that?
yeah,
That's
that's
the
exactly what I'm saying.
yeah. I mean, look, listen. This is why I couldn't be an NBA coach because I'd be all over the rest the whole game. Cause I'm a trash talker. I talk crap all the time. So like I would probably be ejected every game. But like there's certain things you can't say to a ref. So I feel like obviously if a player or a coach says something that obviously you can't say to a ref, obviously then you gotta eject them. That I'm okay with. But like Trey Young going like open your eyes or whatever. I feel like you shouldn't get tech for that. I feel like I think that's just a warranted response from Trey Young. Like, bro, like this was an obvious foul. Like, open your eyes, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that wasn't that bad. But yeah. So the NBA is gonna look at that rule. It's gonna. I wonder how Trey Young's gonna adapt to that now.
I don't think it'll change his game too much because honestly, Trey Young does it a lot, but it's not like he does it a lot in games. He's done it a lot over like a season. So
Yeah.
like there's enough to like say, oh, look at this compilation of Trey Young playing like this. But I never felt like I've watched a game with the Atlanta Hawks and he's done it like a lot of times in a game. Yeah, he does it pretty much every game, but like there's other aspects of his game to where he doesn't need to do that. So I feel like he'll be fine.
let's switch over to Madden real quick. So Madden released a teaser because they're about to release the cover athlete on the 17th, which is I think Thursday. Um,
Thursday.
it was Peyton Hillis, which Peyton Hillis is a huge throwback to the 2012 Browns when one of the biggest one hit wonders in sports history. Peyton
Yeah,
Hillis.
literally.
I think he invented the man curse. I think, or whatever it was.
Well,
Anyway,
well, that was whenever we first started looking at the Madden curse.
oh yeah, that was we were like, this man curse might be real. So the teaser had two goats, and people are trying to predict who it is. I think NFL memes released like a still image of like this is the leaked cover, and I think it's Brady and Mahomes that are both going to be on the cover.
Yeah,
Which I kind of saw coming, to be honest. I'm not that
and
surprised.
then for 2K, I know there's people talking about Luca maybe being the cover
I saw that too. Yeah.
athlete.
I know everyone was mad at Madden 21 or whatever because it was like really bad or whatever, and it kind of is. The one thing I wish Madden would do that 2K does really well is the 2K has the classic teams.
Yeah,
Play as like the 80 something Bulls, or like you can play as like the John Stockton and the Karl Malone Jazz, or the old school Kings, the old school New Orleans Hornets for Chris Paul and Peja and all those guys. Like that's fun to play as those teams, those classic teams. And I was talking with a friend about this the other day. We were like, this would be fun for the NFL because like imagine the '09 Saints, or imagine the '07 Patriots, or
imagine playing as like the 85 Bears with like a
uh,
defense. Oh, that would be fun.
you could play as like
The
the
2000 or what 2001, 2000 Ravens.
yeah, you could play as the Kurt Warner Cardinals or the Carson Palmer Bengals. You can play as different teams, like different eras of the team. Like I feel
And
like that.
honestly, it would work. You would just have to pick one team for like each team, like 85 for the Bears, '09 for the Saints. Like just pick certain years.
Yeah, and like for like the Falcons, you could have the Michael Vick Falcons. Like that'd be so much fun to play as Michael Vick again.
I just think the problem with Madden, and it's not so much. I mean, 2K isn't like
Much
free
better,
of these
but
problems either. But the problem with Madden is that this past year they put all of their work into the yard, right?
yeah, I don't play the
Which
yard.
which is fine, but whenever you have so many people saying don't don't do anything to the yard, fix Ultimate Team, fix this. And Madden looks at that and says, okay, we're going to do some more updates to the yard and nothing to this. It's like you're not even listening to the people that are playing your game. I mean, 2K kind of listens. I mean, not as much as they should be, but I mean, they at least listen a little bit more than Madden does. But Madden doesn't even listen at all to the players. Like whenever they're releasing an update, they don't even ask to like the fan base. Don't
Yeah.
even look at people saying, "Oh man, I don't even play the yard," and this is all they do. I mean, honestly, if I was a game developer and I saw the majority of people saying, "Oh, I don't even play the yard," I'd be like, "Okay, well, maybe the best course of action isn't to update the yard. Let's update what they want first, right?
Hmm.
So Ultimate Team, let's do an update to Ultimate Team, and then we can because we already have the update ready to go for the yard. Let's just hold back on it, and we can implement it whenever we need to.
Yeah.
But
The
it's
best,
like
the best sports game though that no one talks about is MLB The Show. That's the most consistent game out there. No matter what year it is, it's always consistent. But no one talks about it because I mean, a lot of people play it, but like baseball is not as popular. I feel like as you know what I mean. But like, it's one of the better games, honest to God.
I don't know. Whenever NCAA football comes back,
Oh,
they
I'm
need to
excited.
do what they need to do is that like have the 2019 LSU Tigers, have the Johnny Manziel
God,
A&M. Like that's what they need to do. Because if they don't do that, then nobody's gonna want to play the game, honestly.
that'd be amazing.
Because it was such a long stretch that all
Yeah,
of these players never got to be in a football game.
yeah.
So I mean, what they need to do.
I'm excited for NCAA to come back. That's gonna be fun. Yeah. Let's talk about something else. What else was on my mind that I wanted to touch on? Damn it, I don't remember. uh, well, I forgot what it
What's
was.
your finals prediction now that we're in the semis, halfway through the series?
You know what? I'm still gonna go Suns Nets. I think James Harden's gonna come back, and I think that's gonna change the series for the Bucks. I think it's gonna be Suns Nets.
And I'm gonna go Suns as well, but I think we're gonna go Bucks because I just like nice things, and that would be a nice thing.
Yeah.
And Suns Bucks, I
Yeah.
don't know who would win that. I still think that the Suns. And see, this is the thing. I want the Suns to win it because I want Chris Paul to get his ring, And honestly, I think if the series goes like the Nuggets did, then I think honestly Chris Paul can win Finals MVP. I think it could happen.
Yeah.
So I mean, what a way to go. If this would be it for Chris Paul, which I don't think it is, but what a way to go it would be.
I mean, for also for Monty, I mean, I think he deserves a ring.
And I
I
mean Devin Booker
See,
too.
this is where New Orleans messed up. I'll tell you, this is exactly where New Orleans messed up. They should have never fired Monty Williams.
Honestly, I
I,
mean there's a lot of things that they messed up on, but
that was one of the biggest things I think because they fired him after we. That was the first year of the Warriors, I believe. The Warriors that first year we played him in the first round and we got swept, I think. But I'm like, and they fired him after that season. But I'm like,
we
bro,
talking about the Warriors. We're talking about
uh,
prime dynasty Warriors. Like we're not talking about like getting swept by
like in hindsight,
I
I
don't
feel like
know.
they were a little too quick on that move there to fire Monty. Because Alvin Gentry, although Alvin Gentry wasn't a bad coach by no means, he was a pretty decent coach. But I feel like if Monty there, I feel like we would have probably done better.
Yeah.
But that is what it is. I mean, I don't know. So, oh, draft lottery is coming up pretty soon. I think I want to say what's the draft lottery? That's what I wanted to talk about. The draft lottery, I believe, is in 2 weeks, something like that. I'm looking it up. Tuesday, June 22nd. So that's next week. A week from yesterday. So Monday, I believe, is the draft lottery. No, a week from today. A week from today. My bad. A week from today. Today's the 15th. Next Tuesday, the draft lottery. So that's gonna be interesting. The Pelicans, I think, are in the running for the 10th or 11th pick.
Yeah, that's the 10th pick is their biggest odds.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, there is a chance for them to jump up.
Look,
Uh,
we were supposed to get like the 8th pick or something when we got Zion. So I mean, we could jump up. It's possible. If we jump
right.
up though, I feel like the people are gonna be calling out like rigged or something if we get the number 1 pick again. Which I think
Well,
is
yeah, but I mean, Houston, Detroit, and Orlando, they've got the biggest odds for the one pick, and you got OKC and Cleveland,
yeah.
and then after that, it kind of drops off.
I think Orlando gets the number 1 pick. That's my pick to see that who gets it. Orlando's gonna get it, in my opinion. And
Interesting.
then it's gonna be Houston, and then it's not gonna be Detroit at 3. Detroit's gonna get like the 4th pick. I don't know who would get 3, but I'm saying Detroit's gonna get the 4th pick.
And look, Golden State, Minnesota, they have to get a top three pick because if not, their pick goes to the Warriors.
Oh God, and that's at least a top 10 pick. That's gonna be definitely a top 10 pick. That's good.
So Minnesota has to get either the first, the second, or the third pick. And if they don't get it, then the Warriors could potentially get the fourth pick, the sixth pick, the seventh pick, the eighth pick, or the ninth pick, or even the 10th pick. But that's a 0.2 chance, so that's not gonna happen.
The worst. So
And I
basically,
mean,
what you're saying is the Warriors are getting a likelihood like a middle of the pack, top 10 pick.
yeah,
This
pretty
draft is
much.
actually better than last year's draft. I feel like so.
Yeah, I feel like as well. I
The
kind of
Warriors
agree.
can definitely make some moves. And look, the Warriors could also trade that pick. I think too, if if they're trying to make deals. I think the Warriors are gonna be very active in the offseason of like getting trades and free agents and whatnot because they're trying to contend again. Because Clay's gonna be healthy. Hopefully, he's gonna be healthy, and you got Steph still. I think Steph's
Still
gonna
got
stay.
Draymond.
Hmm?
Yeah,
Yeah.
still got
So
Draymond.
yeah, Draymond. So I mean, I expect the Warriors to definitely be buyers in the free agency and when the trade thing opens again.
I heard a rumor that Russell Westbrook might be moving again.
Might be moving again.
And of course, it's the Lakers. That's where people think it's going to go. Now, that's not so much for Russell Westbrook. Now we're talking about Bradley Beal because I think if Russell Westbrook gets shipped out, at that point, why do you keep Bradley Beal? So,
I think
Pelicans,
Washington and Portland should both just blow it up. In my opinion.
Pelicans, Pelicans, Bradley Beal. I'm telling you, it could make you a contender.
Yeah. It looks like also we'll touch on the Pelicans real quick. It looks like Josh Hart might be on the move from New Orleans as well. And Lonzo, it looks like Lonzo's probably gonna be on the move too, which I kind of don't like. Cause like I said, I like Lonzo and I like Josh Hart a lot. But I think what this does is for the Pelicans, and now it makes them look at other options too. Like it makes them go into the market and look at stuff or look at other trades maybe that they wouldn't have looked at before. So if Josh Hart was going to stay with the team, then it's like, okay, then we're not going to go get another guy like Josh Hart. You know what I mean? I feel like now we have like we have to literally
Yeah,
find players instead of like, okay, we're just gonna keep him and just be content with that. You know what I mean? Like now we're being forced to look in the market deeper and actually like make some moves, which get some
yeah,
fresh blood in there. So I'm definitely excited for the free agency thing to start because I want to see how it goes and who's going where.
I agree. Yeah. Look, if Bradley Beal's available, that's like the best option. But I mean, we've already discussed good
Yeah,
options.
I mean, I honestly as long as we get like another, if we can get an all-star player, like no matter who it is, as long as it's another all-star player, I'll be okay. I mean, they're trying.
Yeah, honestly.
you know. Um, so that's all I got for today. I don't know anything else you want to talk about.
I don't think I have anything
I don't
else.
really know either. Um, Probably not gonna have a show next week unless we do a different day because I can't do next Tuesday.
Um, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, by that point, we'll probably know who's in the conference finals. So,
But I kind of want to do a different day that way because I want to talk about the draft lottery because then that way the draft lottery would have happened and we could talk about it.
all right, that's fine.
We'll discuss that. Anyway, well, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. Remember to follow us on Instagram at Sports Chat with DJ Matt 1. This has been a good show. Hope
It
you guys
has.